Welcome back. This is the False Prophet channel where we get Islam destroyed and the Prophet of Islam destroyed on a regular basis. This is your host, Brother Jacob. In tonight's episode, we will show you how Muhammad disobeys Allah and he makes a very, very fatal contradiction that totally eliminates him from being a prophet of God, and it destroys everything for his claim as being a final messenger of Allah, because he contradicts himself and he disobeys Allah. In front of you is the Al-Fatiha. It's the first chapter of the Quran, and we will read the Al-Fatiha. In the name of Allah, who is really Satan, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, who is really Satan, Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone we worship. Thee alone we ask for help. Show us the straight path, the path of those whom thou hast favored, not the path of those who earn thine anger, nor of those who go astray. Now, the part I want you to focus on is number 5, where it says, show us the straight path. Now, I want you to keep that in your mind. Remember, show us the straight path. By the time we finish this, no Muslim will be able to refute this video. And you can use this video in debates and to lead Muslims to Christ. By the time this video is finished, all of this will come together perfectly. So do me a favor, if you have to take a pencil out or just take a mental note, don't forget what it says. Show us the straight path. Now, at this moment, let's go to sunnah.com. Okay, what I'm about to do is we're going to bring up a hadith that we did a video on the other day, but we are revisiting this hadith because it gets Muhammad busted. It's 2 hadiths we're going to bring up, okay? Now, in front of you, let's read. Narrated Abdullah, and this is Sahih al-Bukhari, so they can't say it's a rejected hadith, and they can't say it's weak, okay? Now, narrated Abdullah, the Prophet prayed, and the sub-narrator Ibrahim said, I do not know whether he prayed more or less than usual. And when he had finished the prayers, he was asked, O Allah's messenger, has there been any change in the prayers? He said, what is it? The people said, you have prayed so much and so much. So the Prophet bent his legs, faced the Qibla, and performed 2 prostrations of sahu, and finished his prayers with taslim by turning his face to right and left, saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. When he turned his face to us, he said, if there had been anything changed in the prayer, surely I would have informed you, but I am a human being like you and liable to forget like you. So if I forget, remind me, and if any one of you is doubtful about his prayer, he should follow what he thinks to be correct and complete his prayer accordingly and finish it and do 2 prostrations. Did you get it? Did you catch it? Remember what I told you to remember. Remember in the Al-Fatiha, in the Quran, what does Allah say? it says in their prayer, they are supposed to pray to Allah to show them the right path. Let's go back to it. We're not playing no games on this channel. You see what it says? Allah is supposed to show them the right path. This is what the Muslims, this is in their Quran. This is the first chapter of the Quran. Allah is supposed to show them the right path. Show us the straight path. Okay? Now let's go back to see what Muhammad told them. Now, look at what Muhammad said. He said, so if I forget, remind me. And if any one of you is doubtful about his prayer, he should follow what he thinks to be correct and complete his prayer accordingly and finish it and do 2 prostrations. Key word, he should follow what he thinks, which is a contradiction to the Al-Fatiha when they pray in the first chapter of the Quran, the opening chapter, when it says, Allah, show us the straight path. So here you have Muhammad telling them something different from what Allah supposedly told them to pray, which is to show them the straight path. Okay? But that's not it. It gets worse. It gets worse. Let's pull up the next hadith that goes along with it. Let's enlarge it so you can see. Okay, again, this is a Sahih hadith that we are about to read. Now, this is Ibn Abbas speaking, the cousin of Muhammad. Now, let's read. Ibn Abbas said, none of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Allah knows it. When Allah may know that it is other than what he said, and thus he tries to teach Allah what he does not know, that is something terrible in Allah's sight. Did you see this? So here you have Muhammad telling them to pray what they think, which contradicts the Quran, the Al-Fatiha, when they are supposed to ask Allah to guide them on the straight path. And right here, you have Ibn Abbas saying, none of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Allah knows it. When Allah may know that it is other than what he said, and thus he tries to teach Allah what he does not know. So basically he's saying, when a Muslim says something, because the prayer that the Muslims say is directed to Allah, okay? So when Muhammad told them to say what they think is correct, then guess what? It goes against what Ibn Abbas just said. None of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Okay? So Muhammad is contradicting this Sahih hadith that the Muslims must abide by. Okay? And it says that when a Muslim says something that they are not sure of, they are basically trying to teach Allah as if he doesn't know. And read what it says. That is something terrible in Allah's sight. So according to what Ibn Abbas just said, Muhammad told Muslims to do something that was terrible in the sight of Allah, which is to say something that they didn't know, as if they are teaching Allah as if he does not know, which is a terrible thing in the sight of Allah, as you see. Now, let's go back to that prayer. Now, it says in the prayer that they pray, they say, Allah show us the straight path. Okay? What did Muhammad tell them? What did Muhammad tell them? He didn't even ask Allah to show him the straight path. Okay? You know, praying is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Okay? Let's go back to the hadith. I told y'all, this is powerful. This is powerful. This is powerful. The internet is the downfall of Islam. We have too many of their sources at our fingertips. Now look. So if I forget, remind me, and if any one of you is doubtful about his prayer, he should follow what he thinks to be correct. So as you see, Muhammad is not even following the Al-Fatiha when he actually prays that Allah should show him the straight prayer. Because again, prayer is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So Muhammad is asking the creation, the slaves of Allah, to remind him. Why isn't he asking Allah to remind him like he prays in the Fatiha? What does that show you? It shows me that he doesn't even believe what's coming out of his mouth. Because if he did, he wouldn't tell the creation to remind him. If Allah is the one that's giving him what to say, then why would you go to anything else other than Allah himself to remind you? Follow what I'm saying? Now, let's go back to the hadith, what Ibn Abbas said. None of you should say, oh Allah. No, that's not the one. Let's enlarge it so you can see. Ibn Abbas said, none of you should say about a thing which he does not know, okay? The key word, thing, okay? Now, when they pray to Allah, they are saying things about him. But Muhammad just said that if they don't know, if they are doubtful, they should pray what they think is correct. Okay? But that contradicts what Ibn Abbas says right here. None of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Because it's as if you are teaching Allah something. So basically, he's saying it's like you, the Muslim, trying to act like you are the teacher of Allah and not the other way around, which is a terrible thing. But it's not a terrible thing according to what Muhammad told them. Okay? So this proves that Muhammad disobeyed the Quran, and he is contradicting the very hadith that Ibn Abbas said. He's contradicting that. And this is the funny thing about it. Now, when you tell a Muslim this, I can already tell you the first thing they'll say. They'll try to deny what Ibn Abbas said, and they'll try to throw it under the bus, but still they will be stuck with Muhammad telling Muslims to go by what they think is correct other than what is written in the Al-Fatiha when it says Allah is supposed to show them the straight path. I can already tell you what they're going to do. And what's funny about it is they never even thought about this. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they will try to find a reason to discount the hadith when Ibn Abbas is speaking. Even though Ibn Abbas is an elder statesman in Islam, and what he says goes. So they can try that game, but we're not going to let them escape. Okay? Now, let's bring up the prayer again, and we about to wrap up. We're about to wrap up after this. Okay, in this prayer, who is being addressed? Allah is being addressed. When it says, praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the beneficent of the merciful, and then they go on, enumerating all of these titles to Allah, and then they saying, thee alone we worship. Okay, what Muhammad told them in the hadith, he said, if you forget a prayer, then go with what you think is correct. Okay, so that's another problem in itself. What if a Muslim thinks that if he says something blasphemous in his prayer, that it's correct? Let's just say, Muslims like to say shaitan. Let's just say shaitan deceives one of the Muslims, and then he thinks what he's saying is correct. You get what I'm saying? Let's just say, because you know that has happened before, right? Because Muhammad was deceived by a false Gabriel. And then the real Gabriel supposedly came to him and told him that you were told something by a false Gabriel. Okay? But what Muhammad just did, let's go back to that hadith. I know this is good. This is good. This is real good. This is a no escape argument right here. There's no way they can get out of this. What Muhammad did, he gave them permission, like the Bible says. The Bible says that we are not supposed to lean unto our own understanding. In all our ways, acknowledge him. But what Muhammad told his followers, he told them to lean upon their own understanding and follow what they think is correct. And we all know that as human beings, like Muhammad said, he said he's liable to forget. Okay? So a human being is also liable to say something that he thinks is correct, but in actuality, it's not correct. So let's just say a shaitan hears this, because I know Satan heard this, because Satan is the one who told him to say this anyway, because Satan is setting him up. Okay? So when shaitan heard him say this, guess what? He started smiling and gritting his teeth, because Muhammad gave Satan the authority to put suggestions in the minds of the Muslims, so when they pray, they can just pray anything. Just like Muhammad prayed, but yet he still quoted the satanic verses, and he thought he was correct. You see how it backfires on him? He quoted the satanic verses, and he thought it was correct. You would think he would have learned from that, right? But look what he told his followers. He said, follow what you think to be correct. Okay? So basically, he's telling them whatever they think. He didn't say what Allah says is correct. He didn't say what Allah commands me to tell you what is correct. He told them to pray whatever they think is correct. Now, thinking what is correct can cover a whole wide range of things, from negative things to positive things. What if they think praying to the three daughters of Allah is correct? He told them to go with whatever they think is correct. What if some of them were still attached to the ancient traditions of the Arabs, like worshiping the 360 idols of the Kaaba, and they wanted to include that in the prayer? Well, he can't say anything because he told them to go with what they think is correct. I know this is golden, all thanks be to God, because God is the one who showed me this stuff. He showed me this tonight. God is the one who opened up my eyes so I can share this with you. So all praise be to God. Okay? He's the one who showed me this. So he just gave them the green light to be idolaters, to be pagan, or whatever they wanted to think is correct. Because that's exactly what he told them. So he disregarded the Al-Fatiha prayer. I thought they supposed to ask Allah to show them the straight path. Not according to Muhammad. He wanted them to show their own selves the straight path. When he said, pray what you think is correct, he wanted them to show their own straight path. Okay? And let's go back finally before we end this. This is going to rub it in their face right here. We're going to read it again. We're going to read it again. We're going to read it again. Ibn Abbas said, none of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Allah knows it. When Allah may know that it is other than what he said, and thus he tries to teach Allah what he does not know, that is something terrible in Allah's sight. Okay? So when they quote that prayer and they sang these titles to Muhammad, to Allah, guess what they doing? Guess what they doing when they saying these titles to Allah? And if they not saying the right, correct prayer, they don't know this. Let's say they don't know the 99 names of Allah and they don't know what they are addressing, then that means they are violating what Ibn Abbas said. They sang something that they don't know about a thing. And let's show you the definition of a thing, because Allah, he falls in the definition category of a thing. We're not going to give the Muslim no room to escape. Let's look at one of the definitions. Let's look at one of the definitions of a thing. Let's read the definitions of a thing. An object that one need not, personal belongings or clothing, objects, equipment, or utensils, anything used for emphasis, anything, okay? All that can be described in a specified way, an inanimate material object as distinct from a living sentiment, a living creature used to express and give a reason, an action, entity. Boom. You see? Boom. An abstract entity, quality, or concept. There you have it. So they saying the wrong things to the thing that they are directing it to, the abstract entity Allah, because they don't know what Allah is. Allah is an abstract entity according to Islam. They don't know what he is. He's an abstract entity. And let's end it with a bang. Let's end it with a bang. None of you should say about a thing which he does not know. Let's do a role play. So here's Muhammad. If you're doubtful about a prayer, say whatever you think is correct. None of you should say about a thing which he does not know. If you're doubtful about a prayer, say whatever you say what you think is correct. None of you should say about a thing which he does not know. If you're doubtful about a prayer, say whatever you think is correct. What does the Al-Fatiha say? Allah, guide us on the straight path. What did Muhammad say? If you don't know, go by what you feel. Go by what you think is correct. What does the Al-Fatiha say? Allah, show us the straight path. What does Muhammad say? If you don't know, if you feel you correct, then go with whatever you feel. Here's the Muslim. Okay, I feel correct saying that I should pray to Al-Uzza, Al-Manat. I feel correct praying to Al-Uzza, Al-Alat, and Manat. Then what? I feel correct. That's what he said. Am I right or wrong? This is an inescapable argument. It's nothing they can say to get out of this. And, we have proven everything. In the prayer, they are saying things to the thing, the abstract entity, Allah. This says clearly, none of you should say about a thing which he does not know. You forgot the prayer, so you're saying things that's not correct. It's not the correct prayer. Muhammad gave you the green light to say things that you don't know. He gave you the green light to blaspheme, because what if you think blaspheming in your prayer is correct? You see? He went against the Al-Fatiha, which says, that tells that when they pray and say, Allah guide us on the straight path. And I guess we're going to end with that Al-Fatiha on the screen. Let's just rub it in their face and show them. We're going to end with the Al-Fatiha on the screen. This is not a high-tech video. This is just a screen record. I'm just showing you how easily you can get Islam busted from a screen recorder. Now read it. Praise be to Satan Allah, Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the unmerciful, the no master of any day, of any judgment. Thee alone they worship. Thee alone they ask for help. Show us the straight path. Well, guess what, Allah? Muhammad ordered your slaves to disobey what's written in your Quran. And what does that mean? That Muhammad, he spoke an untruth. Okay? And what does that mean? That makes him a what? A false prophet. Case closed. Muhammad contradicts the Quran. Muhammad disobeys the Quran. He contradicts the Quran. He contradicts what Ibn Abbas said. So the verdict is in. Muhammad, thereby, is a false prophet. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the likes button. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. Put it on social media. Share it to your Muslim friends. Rememorize this argument. It's not even an argument. These are facts. So remember these facts. Remember these hadiths I showed. Memorize how I said it. Put it in your memory, and you can use this time and time again, and no Muslim will be able to refute this argument. This is a case closed, done deal. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to add anything, feel free to do so in the comment section below the video. And with that, this is Brother Jacob with another spectacular, phenomenal episode by the grace of God. And I'm signing out.